What's going on? What's going on? We'll make sure we live here. Am I live? Am I live? Y'all, we coming live from StreamYard today. Let me check myself out here. Trying something out new. Think about should I go ahead and upgrade? See a few people watching here. I'm just doing something new. I'm like Coach Prime, I'm like the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm trying something new today. And hopefully, it goes well. I'm thinking about go ahead and upgrade it. But you all are with Greg Said It here, live from indoors, not in the car today. Everybody come on in. I hope everybody's up by now. We got an extra hour of sleep, so we should be good. I don't know what's going on with these late night Colorado games. I mean, this is different for an East Coast person like me. If you all, I don't know if you all agree, but it's been a challenge trying to get cat naps and all that in on a Saturday. I know we got one coming up on a Friday, another Friday one. So it's going to be pretty interesting to end this season. But I learned a lot. So in the mood, going along with change, I'm going to go ahead and be adaptable because I wanted to do this StreamYard. Believe it or not, I've been on the StreamYard since COVID. I actually put other people on. I've coached, I have a marketing background. I've coached people and they've actually still going. They're really thriving with the StreamYard thing. So I was more behind the scenes. So I just kind of threw it together. I haven't upgraded. Y'all let me know what you think. It's going to be different. It's going to be a different look. And what I do like about the StreamYard is, I like the banners and all that. As you can see, I know more will come with the upgrade. But, the season coming to an end. But, hey, who knows what's coming. But, if y'all look at the title tells you it is what it is. Who's to blame now? Is it a blame? Was it ever a blame? I mean, I seen a lot of different tone. Of course, when the media and all of that get involved, it's hard to really understand, like, what's the real, behind the scene. And, on one end, it's like, oh, we're getting rid of, coach, you know, for, Pat Sherman. On the other hand, it's like, hey, it's not really the emotion. Let me see if I can get my live because I want to be able to see my live, which is different. I can't see my comments on my StreamYard. I see comments there. I'm working this thing out, man. Working this thing out. So one of the things that I always do from week to week is one of my the things I do with my live. I do the good, bad, and the ugly. The good, bad, and the ugly. So it's not all negative. What I do want to say, there are some goods. I got a couple of them. And if y'all see a couple, please feel free to throw it in the chat because I got a couple of them. I probably should have found more, but I guess I was so ready to get to the negative. I don't know. But the defense did fight. And this is probably the second week. If anybody has made adjustments since the game, since the break, it's been the defense. If you really look at the defense, really showed a lot of signs throughout the year that they could play. It's just been very inconsistent, like everything else. It's just I think the offense overshadowed, but I think the defense is always, at the beginning of the season they were leading in turnovers, and they're still creating turnovers every game. So if anybody's been the most consistent, even though they didn't get a lot of props, they say, "Oh, we can't stop the run." The secondary was giving up big plays. It overshadowed the defense has been pretty good outside of just the blunders that they made. I mean, the defense has been pretty solid when it comes to keeping the offense in the game when the offense is slipping. But what I can say is defense gave plenty of opportunities yesterday. They gave plenty of opportunities in UCLA. They gave plenty of opportunities for keeping the score low. Like I think last week halftime went in 7-6. This week went in 7-3. Would have went in 7-3. We'll get into that. So I think the biggest difference is, defense has been playing well. Offense has not been scoring. Even when we played bad, we were scoring. It's like the scoring machine is cut off. Maybe it's because Shador is more banged up. It could be some factors involved, but I don't know how to look at it other than the fact that it's just the offense is just not producing like they used to. And they're just clearly in the stats. They're just clearly in the numbers. Another good that I see, the late comeback thing is still hanging around. It got to be psychological at this point because the offense knows how to cut on, step on the gas when its time is running out, but they don't know how to do it with plenty of time. They know how to make a big comeback in 5 minutes, but they don't use their time in the third and fourth quarter up to that point, which is weird to me. It has to be psychological. Even Shador say it's like he know how to flip on the switch. He made it come in the past. The whole game was 2-minute mode, and clearly they play differently when they see that clock ticking. But it's like they're complacent when they don't see that clock ticking. It's like they get very complacent when they can, make a comeback, I guess. Um, I mean, when they feel like they have time, it's kind of like a procrastinator. It's like a person like I'm really not motivated to my back against the wall. They play like a procrastinating team, and I kind of feel like they kind of did that at JSU. Maybe it comes with Shador. I don't know. I mean, because he knows how to cut it on. If he keep that same level of aggression in the whole game, maybe it's different, especially with how the defense is playing. So I don't really know how to take So maybe you all can help me out. I see comments, they say that it's like the better the defense, the worse the offense play. Yeah, it will appear that way because we complained about the defense for so long, and here they are, doing what you ask, and then your score and drop. You averaging 30 plus points on a bad day, and it's a shootout because the defense ain't doing their part. None of the defense doing their part. You would think that would be the perfect thing. You would think that would be exactly what was needed. So from a defense perspective, I think they're doing exactly what you asked them to do. Not exactly. And that's why I'm getting to my bad. Because as much as they fought and as much as they're playing better and they allowing less scores, I think the Achilles heel for the defense is really their big play giving up. Like they do so well, and then they give up the big play. They do so well, get you third and whatever, then give up a quick slant for 20 yards or a wide receiver, wide open up the middle with the safety send a mile back. What I don't get about the defense, and it's kind of the same thing, I'm really starting to question the IQ of the players. Like the receivers running 1 yard routes on third down, or like, I see what other receivers in other games, don't get me wrong. It's just the IQ of the modern player where they can get wide open during the game. I mean, it can be 3rd and 10 and the receiver on a 5 yard route. Like stuff like that is just the football IQ is not there. You're not like Coach Prime said, you're not running the routes at the right depth. It's weird to me. And it's like should be covered in practice and film. But at this age, I would think these receivers, especially you saying you want to go to the NFL, you would know the route you need to run the route. You know what the first down mark at. They don't care if you catch it in front of them unless you just a monster, you're gonna break all the tackles. And that's the way I see with the defense. It's like I watch them, it's 3rd and goal, the ball on the 2 yard line, and the linebackers and safety is halfway in the end zone. Like, fool, I mean, what is that elementary? Like, what are you doing? Like, who cares? You're gonna tackle them 10 yards into the end zone. Like, that is not making sense. You got to stop them from getting in the end zone. Why are you in the end zone? You know they're gonna run it, so you give him all the momentum and you catch him in the end zone. Like, know where you are. If it's third down, fourth down. I mean, not third, fourth down. Third down and 8, and your safety is off the ball 15, 20 yards, and you wonder how they catch the ball right in front of the marker. It's like you gotta line up in that's conducive in a way that's gonna stop them from getting the first down. It's almost like it's like they winning the game. They're more concerned about giving up the big play than the first down. You work so hard to stop them from getting the first down, I mean, to get them in the third down position, and you're allowing them to convert. So those were some of the things I saw. Penalties are still an issue, even though this is another bad. Even though the penalties are still an issue, they're better. They don't have as many. I guess they went back to the beginning of the season normal of penalties, 5, 6 penalties versus 15, 20. But at the end of the day, the issue is The issue is the penalties come at all the wrong times. And it's like you're going to supercharge the penalties when you finally get them. Like, okay, I finally get a penalty. Then I get 2-3 penalties back to back from the same guy up from the line. You know, you get there and you get one penalty, and then it's third. You finally get moving the ball. Now it's 2nd and 15. You just had a good run. And then you turn around and do it again. Now it's 2nd and 20, 2nd and 25. It's like you get the penalties at the wrong time. That disrupt your momentum, and you also get multiple penalties. Like they got to come in 2s and 3s, and I don't think you can afford that because you want to run the ball. Let's say you run the ball, first down, you get 4 yards. It's 1st and 6. You jump, you do a false start, and then you take the yards back, or you know, hey, I didn't have this in here. Oh, you take a sack, and then lose 7-8 yards. I don't, those are some bad things. I see y'all comments. Keep the comments going. We'll get in there. But I'm just kind of going through my good, bad, and ugly right now. I see that the O-line athleticism is horrible. It's horrible. Shout out to the super chat. Appreciate that. Was that East Coast Kel? So you can't run Dylan Edwards as a North and South runner. He's too small. Also, Shador hangs on to the ball too long. Prime will figure it out, Persia. And I agree with that, for the most part. And we're going to get into this running thing because that's going to be part of my ugly. But I don't know, man. We definitely going to get into that because why you got, Dylan in there, and I kept saying put Wilkerson in there. You going North and South, put Wilkerson in there. I don't know why they're not putting Wilkerson in there. We have Smoke. I don't gave up on that, but I don't get it. I get Dylan swinging out the backfield, screens, whatever, just using him in packages. But you leaving him in the block, you leaving him in there to run. They arm tackle him and throw him across the field because he light as tissue paper. He has no weight in his. The use of personnel, I'm gonna get into that. Don't worry, I'm gonna get into it. This is a live. We usually do our time on this live, and we get into that thing. We're gonna take our time. We're not gonna rush into this thing because my thing is, like I said, the athleticism is highly questionable of the linemen. These are lean linemen. We keep talking about they're not big. So your best asset as a lean lineman, you right at 300. You're not 250. You're not Division II lineman. So you right at the weight you need to be, and you should be able to move. But we see their biggest weaknesses is that they're not moving. Like we look at Tank, he's built like a basketball player more than a lineman. He's like 6'10", 300. So he's not bulky, but his feet are so heavy. It's like he has no agility. The man make one cut and it's like he's standing on concrete blocks. Now we've seen the same thing with Harden 77. We see that with all the linemen. I don't know what kind of drills they're doing, but for them to be so lean, if it's like if you're not gonna be athletic, why be lean? Just be big and just clog it up the way and not get ran over. But to not be lean, to not be athletic and lean, I don't know. I just, it's weird watching a guy who's that lean can't move. He's moving like he's 360, 400 pounds. Like he just, his vertical, his movement, not vertical, his horizontal movement is, that's what he's getting beat. It's like he's slow to make adjustment with a guy going to his left and right. Yeah, they'll bull rush him every now and then, but his left to right, his lateral movement is not there. So I just don't get that. That's my ugly. My bad. And one more bad. Drops. And maybe it's a flexibility issue. Maybe they need to do some more flexibility because they don't move laterally well. And the drops, man. Jimmy Horn, he don't pretty much drop one every game. I don't know what's going on with that. He usually make a big one. He usually make a big one every now and then. But I just can't really call it because I mean, Coach Prime made a point when they threw him that ball when we're gonna get to that right before the half, and he dropped that ball right at the first down. He just pushed it away. He don't did that pretty much last few games. And the drops, they just dropped the ball more to me in the passing. Key drops. Hankerson clicked his heel like, Dorothy on the Wizard of Oz. He jumped up in the air and went to clicking his heel and then came down without his feet under him. He can't even call it a slip. It's like he went up and his feet in midair decided to go sideways. Like, and I'm going to be real with you. Those short running backs, that's what because that pass went a little higher than Hankerson because he's short. It wasn't a perfect pass, but it wasn't like extremely high. So I don't know. But I seen Dylan Edwards miss that screen pass. They say he would have ran for a mile. And Shador threw a little high, but you got to think about Shador's throwing the ball over the lineman. He can't throw it. He's already blocking his passes. So he kind of have to throw it a little higher, kind of float it over the head of the lineman so they won't knock it down. But then it's too high for Dylan Edwards. So Dylan Edwards missed that ball, and they said, "Oh, Shador threw it high." I mean, he's throwing it over 6'5", lineman with the hands up. So it just, Dylan is a little bitty dude. He has no height. He's not just light. He's probably what 5'7", 5'8". I mean, if he had one more inch or two on him, it would have been right in his hands in stride. So those little running backs, man, on them screen passes, it was hurting them. Those running backs was dropping them little screen passes, and they still their stuff still looks very sloppy to me. Like when they run the screens for the last few weeks, it's like the linemen just look chaotic. It's no order. There's no symmetry between the lineman getting out and the running back. It's like the running back gets out there too fast, or he's on the side of them, or they're not in the front, or they're behind them. I've never seen screens look so bad. So all their screens look shaky to me. It's almost like I would wonder how Shador even know who to throw the ball to, because they're just out of place. The screenplay is out of place. It's like running back get out there too fast, or the lineman get out there too slow. It's just the setting up of the blocks. It's just, like I said, the athleticism of the lineman is suspect, man. They move like buffaloes for real. They move very, very, very slow. And I don't know what the answer is. But we can go ahead and get into this clock management with the bad. I can consider it ugly, but bad. In one particular play, we all can point out the clock management at the end of that first half. With less than a minute left at one point. It started off like a minute 30 or whatever, but they could have easily ran the ball. Now we know Oregon State had the timeouts, and they really needed to get a first down. But at that point, they wasn't really passing the ball effective to be thinking that they're going to be able to pass their way out of that situation. It was a good punt that put them down in that area. They really should have been running the ball, getting 2-3 yards, and running the clock down, and been more likely to get a first down that way. Because that's what you're doing anyway. Because you don't want to. Yeah, I mean, you're already getting sacked. You don't want to get sacked in the end zone. You don't want to get sacked in the end zone. They pressure him. So run the ball. I just kept saying run the ball. They ran decent. They always run decent. Why one of the biggest things we thought everybody swore Pat Sherman was gonna balance the offense. It's gonna be a lot more running this week because Pat Sherman. And it really wasn't that much more. And that's what it's like, well, who's to blame now? Who's the problem now? We probably will never know, because you got to look at the fact that Pat Sherman really has been there. Let's just be real. He's the analyst. He's been there. He's been behind the decision making. Now, I don't know how much Sean Lewis overrides it or have the input, but he's using the intel from Pat Sherman. So Pat Sherman has been there. So I don't know if I expected an extreme change, really. And they couldn't do that much extreme change because they got a whole playbook they would have to overhaul. And that wouldn't be smart in the 10th week of the season. But I don't know what to expect, because I didn't know much about Pat Sherman. I really didn't. So I don't know, what we really could expect. But the clock management, and that really, if you really look at the score of the game, that's what ultimately lost the game. From a numbers perspective, they end up losing by a touchdown. and they didn't manage that clock. And I don't know how you really can control the clock passing the ball, because they wouldn't have had to pass it as much if they went in 7-3. They came out 14-3, almost having to score and having to score fairly fast, versus 7-3. I can come and take the whole third quarter if I want to, because at that pace, the defense was keeping them off the scoreboard. At that pace, they both was eating up the clock, or at least it seemed that way. So it wasn't a shootout at that point. So rushing the score, it should have been, on what I'm not seeing, more strategy. Forget what you want to do. Forget. Clearly, Oregon State strategy was to milk that clock and keep Shador off the field, and that's going to be the strategy when anybody running game. That's going to be the strategy going forward, because if I don't know why, but Colorado is not scoring like they normally do. It's just not scoring. I don't know if that's their problem, or I don't know if that's just I can't see that these last two teams are scouting that much better than the ones before. I just think it's a drop off in production for whatever reason. The line's been the line. He's been getting hit, but the boys have been able to get open. But going in halftime 7-3, 7-6 one week, 14-3 another. This, like, the offense is non-existent. Now he'll burst in at the last quarter and get his yardage and get over 200 yards, but shows he can and they can. But I don't know where the inconsistent lies. But I would like to get into the ugly for y'all who's with me here. The ugly. The ugly. I never thought I would say this. The Trevor Woods thing is getting ugly to me. And I'm not saying it's ugly because of who he is. I'm not trying to dog the player. I don't even like to be negative, but let's be real. The Trevor Woods at linebacker thing is almost like the Dylan at running back. It's like the use of personnel is very, very awful, because you're looking at Trevor Woods, the lightest linebacker. He's probably like, I don't even know if he's 210. I know he's tall, he's lean, and he's like 210. I don't even think he's 215. And you got him at linebacker. Not only at linebacker, he hasn't played linebacker. He hasn't been at linebacker, prior to this. He's been a safety. You move him to linebacker, I would think, for certain packages of a certain personnel. But I don't see an excuse for you leaving him in there the majority of the game when you got Juju Mitchell, because you put Juju in later. So it's not like he's on probation or nothing. You put Juju in. I don't know how I feel about Ham, but I think everybody's more experienced at linebacker than Trevor is. And let me tell you something, man. I played linebacker. I played all of it, really. But I played linebacker. And I played secondary. I played safety. I played corner, strong safety, you name it. Defensive end, but at the upper levels, all of that. And that linebacker core overall sucks at reading the play. They suck at scraping down the line. Their first step is vertical. Their first step is towards the line. They already only like 4 yards off the ball. And their first step is into the line. Before they read anything, before they know it's a pass, before they know that it's a run, which direction the run is going, their very first step is forward. That is so unfundamental as a linebacker. Your first step is right here. Why are you moving if you don't know where the ball is going? Your first step is to see, is this a pass or a run? You don't even need to move. Why are you moving and then you moving the wrong way? They often go left and ball going right. They commit right just because they just feel that they need to move their feet. And that right there at the college level, Power 5, I can get a Division II linebacker to do better than that. Because what we're seeing, guys, these teams are running the ball. When they do run the ball on Colorado, if the defensive line ain't making a tackle, Shiloh and Ward, all them come up and make the tackle. That's where the runs get to be 15, 20 yards, unless our defensive linemen grab them by the back of the shirt and drag them down. If not, it is no second level. And they can say, good job. The second level is taking themselves out the game. They either going the wrong way or they're walking right to the lineman to be blocked and then trying to scrape. How you going to scrape when you already put yourself in the lap of the lineman. He didn't even have to come to you. You're not even making him have to come to you. You run up into the crowd where you can't see. You commit to a hole, gambling as if that's where the ball is going. And I'm watching them. Trevor Woods, he would go in and just duck his head into a hole. Don't even know if the ball is there. The ball go right past him, or the ball go the other way. It's like he's just running in, just lower his head. He's not scraping down the line and then going lateral. He's not going there. He's not reading. Also, I've been saying the linebackers lining up right beside each other. You're obsolete. You're one freaking person. You lining up right by each other. You're running into each other. You're going into the same hole. You're one linebacker. You're a waste of a linebacker. It's not even 11 players out there. They're not reading. You're right. They're getting caught in the wash. And they're doing it every single play. They'll even do it when it's a pass. The only time they remotely don't get caught in the wash if the quarterback come off the rip pass and they run off. And then this is what they do. They get too deep. Trevor Woods playing linebacker like he's still playing safety. The linebackers are dropping 20 yards back. And then you wonder why all the quarterbacks can take off and run 15, 20 yards and nobody there. You're a linebacker. You're not a safety. You're not a D lineman. And you're not Coach Hart, you in trouble, man. You lucky that's your boy. Because your linebackers show they know you ain't telling them nothing but some philosophy. Because I don't know how you drop into your coverage that deep with two safeties over top. I don't know why. It's like y'all all standing by each other to cover one man, and the quarterback is come out. The middle linebacker is nowhere to be found with two safeties over the top. Not gonna see if you step back, close that window, but you got to be. Your defensive line works so hard to put pressure on the quarterback. Okay, and they're not getting a sack, but he escaped. He shouldn't escape for a 20-yard run because you should be there. And if that's the case, then you need to just blitz the linebackers every time and just eliminate the gaps, eliminate the seams from the run. And he just made the pocket of collapse. And they did that sometimes. But if you're not going to properly spy on that quarterback, knowing he's going to run it and will run it, and you look at it, man, they didn't even have that great of numbers. And the score really shows it. The quarterback actually, Shador still outpassed that quarterback number-wise and completion-wise. But the big plays that you gave up, and a lot of those big plays, to me, was linebackers. When they had those big runs, the linebacker, and specifically Trevor Woods, he's not a linebacker. He's a third down backer who you may come in to cover the slot receiver or something like that, maybe blitzing. How dare you put him in as a starter and full-time linebacker? Like you have nothing. Like your excuse about the line is we have nothing else. That's your excuse. We have nothing else. But the reality is you have something else for Trevor. You have something else for Trevor. I don't get what's causing you with Juju over there, with Kennedy over there. I mean, I can handle. I don't understand. Somebody help me understand that. Because at the end of the day, the linebackers losing them games. I'm telling you. Now, not running the ball. Let's get to that. Not running the ball. Not running the ball. I don't know. I looked at a stat that had Oregon said that they ran the ball with their two running backs 31 times. And I think Colorado only ran it 11 times. So I'm basically looking at Oregon State ran the ball 3 times more than Colorado. Somehow. Even though when they did run it, it was successful. I saw one time he ran it right up the gut and got stuffed, which I don't know why you would run the ball up the gut, really. Off tackles where you've been successful. And the reason why you're gonna be successful off tackle, because they gushing your tackles. They're especially the bum rush your tackles because they don't respect your run. So they're not even gonna see the run coming because they ready to run right around your slow, slew-footed tackles. So off tackle gonna be because they're going wide because they say I'm gonna beat them on the edge. So you going off tackle gonna be open all day. All you need is a strong enough running back who can break the arm tackle of that tackle, reaching out and trying to grab him. He can break that, and we've seen Savion turn that corner. Savion run like a little dog. He run like a wildebeest. He's like a little bowling ball. That's how he run. He would have wore that defense down. The conspiracy theorists definitely love what we talking about here because they didn't change nothing. They can run the ball. They run the balls are still averaging about 4 yards a carry. And I've heard somebody say the most talented room is the running backs. And you would think about it. I remember the award for the watch list for running backs. We had 3 running backs. We had Smoke, Wilkerson, and we had McCaskill on that preseason watch list. Both of those had the potential to be 1,000-yard rushers. We had all 3, and we ain't using them like that. Like these other schools using 2, 3 running backs. Keep them fresh and they strong. Why McCaskill's went on red shirted? I was wondering because, like they say, change is coming. Why would he red shirt before that? He must knew nothing was gonna change. I just couldn't get that through my head. They say he knew what was coming, but then why would he red shirt? More running about to come. Well, clearly more running than come. He knew something. You're right. He knew something, right? And you know that last minute, that last minute and a half, that was actually part of my ugly. I got my little trusty pad here. I think my last ugly is I think y'all agree with me, so I'm just go ahead and say, did not capitalizing when the defense makes stops and turnovers. That's the difference between being undefeated since the break. The defense is getting interceptions, fumbles, and all the offense do is go down there and kick a field goal. They did it twice last week. They did it this week, or they end up getting penalties and punting or something. It's unexcusable because one thing for sure, UCLA and even Oregon State, for the most part, they capitalize on turnovers. For the most part, they capitalize on turnovers. So I don't know how you don't capitalize on any of those turnovers other than a field goal at best. It reminds me so much like somebody said, I'm from Atlanta, said, don't be like the Falcons. Because the Falcons used to be known for that. If defense play all great, all you get is a field goal. All the team have to do is score 1 touchdown, bust your bubble. You got 2 turnovers, 2 field goals, and they score 1 touchdown. You still lose. And they didn't beat you to sleep. That not capitalizing on at least one of those turnovers from a touchdown perspective. Somebody you say we couldn't run the ball inside the 20. How you know? You couldn't or you didn't. Because you can't say what somebody couldn't do when you only rush 11 times. Don't tell me you couldn't do something and you only rushed 11 times. And if you rush 30 times and you only got 5 yards, then you can say what couldn't. Then you say what couldn't. But you can't say what couldn't when the other team rushed 3 times more than you and they had a running back 150 yards. Your running backs, when they did touch the ball, especially Wilkerson, when they did touch the ball, he got by 8 yards. Strangely enough, they didn't feed him the ball after that. They didn't continue to feed Wilkerson the ball. It got stuffed 1 time. And I know you ain't assuming that stuff is Dylan Edwards. What you expect from a 150-pound soaking wet guy? Stevie Wilkerson got stuffed when they ran out behind the guard, which I've already said. If you run the ball right up the middle, that ain't the strength of your offense. Off the tackle is where it is, and that's where they've been successful. Dylan gets stuffed because he's 150 pounds soaking wet. Even if he got a hole, they stick their arm out there and knock him off balance. That's common sense. If you're 150 pounds and the guy is 300 pounds, his arm weigh more than you. I mean, what you gonna do? You gonna run through his arm? You're not gonna do it. He's just too small. He's just a little too small. Give him 20, 30 more pounds, he might can do something. We need about 30, 40 pounds. Running back need to be at least 200. He's small, he's short, and he run hard. But you're going against grown men out there. So that's when the running gets stuffed. You can't say Hankerson been getting stuffed because every time them boys got the ball, they move it. So we can't say it couldn't happen because they didn't try it because the stats prove it. The stats, not opinion. The stats prove we only tried to run 11 times. And Shador probably could have ran one time, but he was hurt. So, he's not going to run. His knee or something was hurting, it looked like. So our running ability was limited from a quarterback standpoint. But running back, what can you say? People say, where was Smoke? Smoke over there on the sideline. That's where he at. Special team. I've been saying Wilkinson that for the last couple of weeks. We thought he was hurt. He was there. Dylan's still getting the bulk of the snaps. He's running out the backfield, but guess what? All of them can run out the backfield. I don't know about Hankerson now. Hankerson I don't know what he's doing. But I know Savion Wilkinson can catch out the backfield. And you get him an open field, he can run and he can punish a DB. So ultimately, I think we can sum it all up. I think is the real issue with Colorado. We look at everything from the personnel usage, from the clock management, from the, penalties. I think that it boils down to decision making, and I think it started at the top. Everybody been pointing out the coaching for a minute. We've been kind of taking it like, yeah, we did, but I think it really is, and I think they kind of resorted to that when they moved Sean Lewis, because they identify it's definitely at the higher level. Now, I will say the football IQ of these players is a little low, because I'm watching the linebackers how they complete their assignments, how they pursue the ball. They look like they don't have a clue. Like they just started playing linebacker last week. I also look at, the DBs and how they line up behind the first down marker and let the receiver catch it right there, versus, I need to stop him from getting to this point. They sit back like they have no awareness of the field and where the ball is and where the ball has to get to. They do it on the goal line. They sit in the back of the end zone, and, you got to stop them from getting in the end zone. Why are you 2-3 feet into the end zone? And they're running at you. And they loading it up and they we're going to run right down your throat. What good is you standing up so you have no leverage? You're $150. You small. The best thing you can do is Bobby Boucher shoot that gap. You standing back there catching them in the end zone. What good are you? Go stand on the sideline. What happened to the jumbo package of linebackers, the jumbo pack? What happened to the bigger DBs? Why? It'd be a good time to bring in the Travis J. Bigger DBs. Cameron Simmons, Craig still out there. 150 pounds soaking wet like Dylan. Why not use your personnel? Your personnel is not maximized. The decision making from the coaches on. I can't excuse it. I can't excuse that you're not using your right running back at the right time. I can't excuse that you got, somebody asked with Kamani. Kamani came in later a little bit. They took Cooper out so quick. Cooper didn't get back into that in that zone coverage. They pulled him out. Put Breedlove in for a minute. Then Kamani came in later. These people, let's say Travis still hurt. Yeah, well, he the best performing player on the team, offensively and defense. I would think at this point of the season, a lot of people will be hurt from something, because you ain't getting a full week off, and it takes longer than that to recover from more than just a bump. Even a bruise lasts longer than that. So everybody playing hurt. But yet when he got that ball, he moved and scored. Hurt. Yet when he on defense, he did his thing. And he did his thing last week. Our decision making is just, I'm gonna say the coaches, because we talk about practice, we talking about all these different things, but at the end of the day, you the one who putting these boys out on the field who are not quite. I don't know. I don't even know what you're going over in practice. I don't know the drills that you're running. I know drills supposed to correlate to a skill you need to perfect for the game, not just to be doing something to pass the time, get you tired. It's like, if I was coaching, the drills that I'd be doing would be based off of the weaknesses that we showing. Linebackers need to be doing pursuit drills and get that together. Their alignment and their assignment. DBs need to learn 100 times how to not quit and let the ball go across the face. Slants, wide open slants. And you see, the slants wide open because you got sorry piss-poor linebackers who ducking their head into the line and not reading. They're obsolete. They might as well be on the D-line. They're D linemen. And they ain't even blitzing. So they're obsolete. You're a linebacker. You jumping into the line. You can't be. You have no second level. You have no second level to help with the run or the pass. That's what you're not getting, guys. Nobody. There's no second level. That's why the middle of your field wide open on them slants and drags. Because your linebackers silly behind, peeking their head into the line instead of being a linebacker. You know, your linebacker is a linebacker. You back the line. You're not in the line. If you're not blitzing, you have no need to be up in the line. And you know, the running back break free, all your defense is on one level. So the only other level is, you know, Ward and Shiloh got to come up from a mile back and make the hit. But man, I ran 15 yards. That's not defensive line. That's the linebacking. Somebody get these to these guys. I got 130 some people live right now. Somebody knows somebody. Share this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because somebody got to know. Somebody. I don't know if it matters right now. But the linebackers is the problem. I'm tell y'all that. I'm a little biased. I mean, I played corner, I played. Linebackers is your problem. When your defense make those big stops and then you give up that run and the man, you hit him and he fall for another 5 yards. If your linebackers were who they are, they will plug that. But they on the line with the line, and the guy running right by them, and your lineman getting drugged 5 yards up the field, tackling him from behind. Your linebacker should be in front of the man. You tackling him from behind, he falling forward, or your safety have to come up and hit him. He already, you know, got 5 yards. It's your linebacker. It's your linebackers. As well as the defense doing good, if their linebackers play good, we will have a lockdown defense. It's been the linebackers. And for you to go put Trevor Woods in that linebacker core shows you have no clue on what you to do with the linebackers, because he could be a linebacker in certain situations, but for you to make him your starter and your main linebacker, it shows the linebacker play ain't finna get better. The defensive linemen don't got better. The edge rushers, everybody don't got better. The safeties, they come up and hit. They you know, I don't know. They got counted. They sit too far back for me, because them balls were dropping right in front of them to tight end for them deep passes. They send too far back. There's two of them, and they send too far back. We have, you know, when Coach Prime made the comments that he made, I think it was premature. He kind of retracted. He told me, we have what we need. When they start talking, we're going to get rid of the line. We're going to do this. It was premature, because the reality is the game shows you have the pieces of the puzzle that you need to win. You don't have the pieces of the puzzle you need to dominate, but you surely have the pieces of the puzzle to win. But what you're not doing is using the pieces of your puzzle correctly. You're not using the pieces of your puzzle correctly. Safeties are playing 30 yards back, giving all the underneath. They playing like they in prevent at all times. They're sitting back. The corners kind of send back. So that's how, you know, like that slant, Breedlove set back and let him go underneath. He didn't try to not let him go underneath him. And that slant was the first down. It's like, how do you play if you're gonna play man coverage, 3rd and 8? That would be the time that you lock in and lock down on them. That wouldn't be the time that you sit back unless you're in some prevent. You playing like you don't want him to beat you deep. He's not trying to beat you deep. He's trying to get the first down. You giving him the first down just so you can say I didn't get beat. You get you so used to getting beat. You sitting back, letting the guy go underneath to get the first down. Your defense has sat the quarterback, pressure quarterback, all hard to get to that 3rd and pretty much long for Colorado, because they're not getting the penalties getting them 3rd and 15. So that's 3rd and long for Colorado. 3rd and 8 is manageable. And your cornerback sits back and just gives the slant. And he's not giving the slant knowing that he got underneath help. He's giving the slant just to say, you don't get behind me, and I'm going to tackle you, and you're going to get the first down. Safety has nothing to do with that. I don't know how you worry about getting beat deep with 2 safeties over top. First thing you should be doing is taking away the slant in the drag route on 3rd and 8. And that's further shows you're not watching film as a player because you don't even know the tendencies of the. They ain't got that kind of receiving core out there. They shut number 7 down pretty good. Number 7 ain't do much. He's speedy. I guess Travis, somebody must have been on him because he was real quiet. Let me see a comment. If you think Coach Prime can't coach, y'all crazy. Any other first year coach? I'm glad y'all speaking on that because a lot of people have been making comments about this. Coach Prime is the first year. I think that it's not about can Coach Prime coach because first of all, he got about 47 other coaches out there. So that's not that's elementary to think that you can put blame on one person. But as an ultimate decision maker, and that's where it comes in on him. I think that the pressure Coach Prime, being a salesman he is, and being who he is, a competitor he is, I think he put the pressure on himself. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think he put the pressure on himself that he wanted to win. He wanted to dominate because that should be the goal. Nobody go out there to lose. But I think what happens is he raised the expectations because the expectation was what's going on right now, that they're only going to beat certain people. And we're going to win. We're going to win now. And the win now philosophy is what raised the expectation for him. It's not that people are being unrealistic. You can't blame people because nobody had expectation for him to win until, like people say, he came in, I'm bringing the Louis. He raised the expectation, which he should. That's why he's selling out stadiums everywhere. That's why he's selling out Boulder. He's bringing in the money. And realistically, if they had some adjustments, he could be, what is that? 7-2 right now, 8-1. Because, like people say, they have been in the game, so he wasn't far off. Dominating, not necessarily, but he could be winning. But that's everybody. Oregon State could be 8-1 right now. You see, everybody in this Pac-12 conference have been beating each other. I put out a video a long time ago. I brought this up. I said that they're going to cannibalize each other, and that's what they're doing. They cannibalize because I think UCLA got destroyed by Arizona. Arizona don't just came on the back end and whooping everybody, and we got to see them next week. Even outside of Cal and Stanford sneak up on you. But outside of them two, everybody is dangerous to each other. Washington maintaining their stuff. But everybody else is in danger. Everybody don't play the close game with somebody they expect. They don't play the close game with Stanford. They don't play a close game with Arizona State. They don't play the close game with Colorado. All these lower tier teams have gave people trouble. And they see Arizona coming in, giving people a hard time. They don't found their rhythm. Nobody's safe. Nobody's going to be undefeated. Washington right now maintaining it. USC was getting them a run. USC ain't even the top tier team at this point. They gave Washington a run for a minute. Washington had a run. Who was that? They gave Washington a run not too long ago. Was it Arizona State? It's like these teams all are good enough. And maybe that's the tweet that Colorado need to make because Coach Prime did say we're going to win and win now. Well, Stanford beat Washington State last night. Washington State sneak up and beat Oregon State, right? It's like you gotta every day you gotta bring your game. And Colorado definitely got to bring their game because everybody want to beat them because they got the spotlight and they got Coach Prime. Coach Prime put it on him. Let's be real. It's not negative. He put the spotlight on himself like he should have because he promoted because nobody wouldn't even check for Colorado. Most of y'all wouldn't been checking for Colorado, right? But he turned around about right at halfway, and said, well, we about $7 or $8 away. But what he really was saying, $7 $8 away from being dominant. But the negative part about it is, what are you saying about your players at that point? Do they feel like I'm not good enough? Then you go and call out your line. Say, I need a new line last week. Then you come back and say, we got to figure it out. Those are things that I guess he will eventually look back on and say, okay, because he has a high expectation for these players, you know, and they're not living up to it, but they could be good enough to win. And it's like sometimes you got to adjust your expectation to say, let's win this game. Okay, y'all not gonna do everything I feel and what I would do, but I'm gonna work with what I got. Sometimes you so busy looking at what you need that you don't work with what you got. If they had to focus more on work they got, I think they would have been a lot more strategic. Don't focus on what they ain't. Focus on using the pieces that they have. Okay, my lineman may not be no bona fide dogs and can protect Shador sit in the pocket like Tom Brady, but they can get out there and pop their head in front of somebody and give Wilkerson some room to run. You so busy trying to make them be these world-class linemen they won't be. You pretty much canceling the season. I'm gonna get a new line. Man, you got 3-4 more games left. So those are things that he has done that he kind of shoot himself in the foot, because almost like either you giving up or it sounds like you giving up. You don't want your players to feel like, well, I'm not good enough. And then you're gonna turn around and try to coach them up. You can't coach them up after you say, I basically gotta get rid of you. Because they're good enough to beat Oregon State. Clearly. They move the ball when they need to. But I think the coach shot them in the foot with just the personnel usage and just the decision making on the plays they call. Running, when they run, not running enough. You clearly, I mean, y'all could at least gate the ball. We talked about that before the game. Other channels talked about it before the game. Talking about at least run the ball 20 times. That's the formula. At least run the ball 20 times. They only ran the ball half of 20 times. I don't know what you really can expect, because the team you're playing is milking the clock running the ball. So they eliminate your ability to outscore. They know you got to outscore them. They know you got a better quarterback. Their quarterback didn't even, with all that on his side, without even being sad, without even being hurt, Shador still outpassed him. He still was more accurate. He still had more yards. I remember right at it. With all the negatives, Shador still. So they like, well, shoot, they was running drives 8 minutes. The drives were long. So when you playing a team like that, you really got to play almost at their level, especially when your quarterback already hurt. You definitely should have ran the ball more. You didn't have to run it 30 times like that. You should have ran that ball at least 20 times. And I believe those 9 more rushes probably would have been a difference in the game, because it definitely would have been, some of them would have been at the end of that first half where they would have went in 7-3. They ended up losing by a touchdown instead of 14-3. Some of them running yards would have been there. Rushes, some of the rushes. And some of them rushes would have been, at other points to slow down the game, where they would have less opportunity to score. I mean, outside of a few busted plays, the defense shut them down. People that come in were talking about they controlled the game. They really wasn't running the ball that well until they ran it well. It wasn't like consistent. And the only reason why they broke them runs, because people like Trevor Woods at linebacker. I'm not dogging Trevor Woods, but I'm telling you, he's not a linebacker. And he's not your best linebacker. Why does he play so much more than the other linebackers? Okay, Coach Prime wanted him in. Okay, he's this, that, and that. He's represent with the program. We don't need a morale. What do you call it? A signal or a gesture. We don't need politics. We need somebody to help you get out there and win. We don't need symbolism or this new Colorado with the old Colorado. He's the only one still playing. He still could have played. But, man, when it really came down, especially in the red zone, why is he still in? You brought Juju in for a little bit. Why is he still in? That kind of looks a little funny, because he's definitely not the best. And it's not even in his best interest to be in there, because he's a smaller linebacker. He's the least experienced linebacker. And he don't know what he's doing. Now, Coach Prime has made the comment, the passion is not there. You see they kind of just going through the motion. I'm going to do a video later This is my inspirational Sunday. Y'all make sure it's one, two things. Y'all see that scrolling at the bottom? I've been having my Tanggula box going. Let me tell you something. My Tanggula box been running. I got one guy, he can testify, and I wish he was in here. Tanggula box is what it is. If y'all don't have one of y'all sports fans, you really hurting yourself, because cable is too expensive. Subscriptions, you can't be starting and cutting it off, starting, because you're gonna run out of email addresses, and you still don't get the number channels. My Tanggula box got 10,000. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. One, when they was paying the Pac-12 games, I used it to get the Pac-12 games. I didn't have to get no special subscription and all that. I got every sports channel there is. But also, I was able to, when that game started late and they said ESPN News, I'm like, what is that? I went in my box and I found I didn't have to miss part of the game. I actually was able to watch from the beginning of the game, and I didn't even realize it because I got all the ESPN channels. So I was able to watch the game from the start versus waiting for the other game. And I don't even know how much people miss waiting on it. So y'all need that Tanggula box, man. You watch sports, you need that, right? I got it scrolling right here at the bottom. Go ahead and hit text cable cutter to 404-500-8451. It's already, it worked for me. It's working for other people. That's my sponsor here. Y'all go ahead and check that out. It's right down the screen. Text that right now. Get your box. It's going to be, I can't tell you what's coming, but it's going to be some interesting stuff, because I put a video out about unity a couple weeks ago, about a week ago or so, and that was on his screen. I noticed that that's what he was talking about this week, so I was spot on. I was talking about the coaches and some going on. Then here we go with Sean Lewis, so I was spot on. I'm gonna be doing a video, so make sure y'all liking, sharing, and subscribing. Make sure y'all gonna be there, because I'm gonna be talking about something, my inspiration today. I think I have another thing figured out from the comment he's made about why the passion is not there, why the energy level is not there. I heard Shador make a comment, and I ain't gonna spoil it, but y'all just be on the lookout for my next video. All y'all definitely make sure y'all have like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the participation. I appreciate all the support. We don't win over 2,000. We really been just running this thing since the beginning of the season. We over 2,000 subscribers here. Where I see it, it's going to be over 1,000 people here. And, about half of you all are returners. So make sure if you're new, if you've been following and you haven't gave me that currency, go ahead and hit subscribe right now. Whether you're watching the live, watching the replay, go ahead and hit subscribe. And, I'm going to be back with y'all. I'm gonna get pump another video out today. Y'all definitely gonna look out for that. But I appreciate y'all time on this Sunday. Again, Greg said it. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good one.